Today, let's dive into the Bible to uncover the spiritual significance of 12 hidden signs angels are in your home. Biblically explained, angels are God's messengers, sent to protect, guide, and comfort His people. While they often work invisibly, there are signs, drawn from Scripture, that could reveal their presence. Here are 12 hidden signs that angels might be visiting your home. And if you love content like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and watch until the end. 1. A sense of peace beyond understanding. Have you ever faced a situation so overwhelming that it seemed impossible to find peace? Maybe it was a time of uncertainty, loss, or worry about the future. Yet, in the midst of those difficult moments, you suddenly felt a wave of calmness wash over you, a peace that seemed out of place, even unexplainable. This extraordinary experience is what the Bible refers to in Philippians 4:7, the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding. This kind of peace doesn't come from circumstances. It's not because the problem has disappeared or a solution has been found. Instead, it's a gift, a reminder that you are not alone. Many people believe that moments like these are signs of God's presence, often brought by His angels. Imagine this: you're sitting in your room, heart heavy with worries, and suddenly a sense of calm settles over you. The anxiety fades, and you feel as though someone is saying, "It will be okay." That's not just coincidence. Angels, as God's messengers and helpers, are often sent to comfort and guide us. They bring reassurance when we need it the most, surrounding us with God's peace. Angels don't always appear visibly. Sometimes, their presence is felt through the unexplainable warmth of calmness, the whisper of hope in your heart, or the strength to keep moving forward. They work quietly, pointing us toward God and reminding us of His promises. When you feel that kind of peace, it's a gentle nudge to trust in Him, to let go of fear and hold on to faith. Philippians 4:7 reminds us that God's peace surpasses all understanding. It's not something we can reason out or explain away. It's bigger than our doubts and stronger than our fears. This peace is a shield for our hearts and minds, guarding us when life feels overwhelming. So, the next time you feel that unshakable calm, in the middle of a storm, pause and acknowledge it. It might just be God's way of letting you know He is near, sending His angels to bring comfort and peace into your life. Trust in that peace, and know that you are held in His loving hands. 2. Unexplained fragrance or sweet smell. There are moments in life when we encounter something unexpected, an unexplained, sweet fragrance that fills the air around us. It's not coming from flowers, candles, or anything nearby. It feels otherworldly, and for some, it might spark a sense of wonder or curiosity. What could it mean? Could it be more than just a random occurrence? In the Bible, fragrant incense was a key part of worship in God's presence. Exodus 30:30-38 describes a special incense made from rare and precious spices. This incense was sacred, used only in the tabernacle, symbolizing prayers rising to heaven and the holiness of God. Its sweet aroma was a reminder of God's presence among His people. Now imagine this: you're sitting in your home, perhaps praying, or simply reflecting on life. Suddenly, you notice a heavenly scent, as though the air has been kissed by something divine. There's no source you can point to, no flowers, no perfumes, no open windows bringing in a breeze. Yet the fragrance lingers, filling your heart with peace and awe. Many people have shared experiences like this, describing it as a sweet, otherworldly aroma. Some believe it to be a sign of angelic visitation, a gentle reminder of God's presence and care. Angels, as messengers of God, often bring tokens of heaven to earth. Could the fragrance be one of those tokens? In ancient times, the incense used in worship wasn't just a pleasing smell. It represented something much deeper. It symbolized prayers, holiness, and the beauty of being in God's presence. When an unexplained fragrance fills your space, it may be a moment to pause and reflect. It could be a sign that angels are near, carrying the essence of heaven to remind you that God is with you. Such moments aren't about the scent itself, but about the message behind it. It's as though God is saying, "I'm here. I hear your prayers. You are not alone." These experiences can bring peace to a troubled heart, hope to a weary soul, and joy to those seeking a sign of God's love. Think about the last time you felt surrounded by something unexplainable yet comforting. Could it have been an angelic encounter, or perhaps a gentle nudge from God, reminding you of His closeness? The next time you notice an unexpected, sweet aroma, take a moment to pray or simply rest in the stillness. Whether or not you fully understand it, let it remind you of the beauty of God's presence and His endless love for you. 3. Protection from danger. Have you ever been in a situation where danger was so close, yet somehow you walked away unharmed? Perhaps it was a near miss on the highway, an accident avoided at the last moment, or a mysterious sense of being shielded from harm. These moments, where logic can't explain your safety, could be more than mere coincidence. Psalm 91, 11-12, gives a powerful promise. He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. This verse speaks of God's tender care and His delegation of protection through His angels. These heavenly beings are sent to guard, guide, and shield us from harm, often without our knowledge. Picture this: a young mother driving her car on a rainy evening. The roads are slippery, and visibility is low. Suddenly, a car swerves into her lane, heading straight toward her. She grips the wheel, bracing for impact, but in an instant, her car seems to move just enough to avoid the collision. Her heart races, but she's safe. How did it happen? Or imagine a man walking home late at night. The streets are dark, and he hears footsteps behind him. Fear creeps in as he senses he's being followed. Yet, before anything can happen, the footsteps fade away, and he feels an overwhelming sense of calm. Was he being protected? Stories like these are shared by people all over the world. They describe moments when they felt an invisible hand of protection, a presence that kept them safe. Some might call it luck, but those who know God's promises understand it could very well be His angels at work. In the Bible, angels are described as mighty warriors of God, sent to fight battles, deliver messages, and protect His people. When Daniel was thrown into the lion's den, it was an angel who shut the mouths of the lions, keeping him safe. When Peter was imprisoned, an angel appeared, breaking his chains and leading him to freedom. These are just two examples of God's protective care manifesting through His angelic army. Even today, God's angels are active, standing guard over His children. While we may not always see them, their presence can be felt in the peace and safety we experience in life's most perilous moments. They are God's unseen agents of protection, carrying out His will to keep us from harm. But why does God send angels to protect us? It's because He loves us deeply. Just as a parent watches over their child, shielding them from danger, so does God care for us. His angels act as an extension of His love, surrounding us with their watchful care. The next time you escape danger, or feel an inexplicable sense of safety in a threatening situation, pause and reflect. Could it be that God's angels were watching over you? Could it be that Psalm 91, 11-12, was being fulfilled in your life at that very moment? Take comfort in knowing that God's promises are true. His angels are real, and His care for you is unwavering. They may not always make themselves visible, but they are there, guarding, protecting, and ensuring that you are safe in His hands. Such moments are not just about physical protection, but also a reminder of God's nearness and faithfulness. Even when life feels uncertain or perilous, you can rest assured that He is watching over you, commanding His angels to guard you in all your ways. So, whether you're driving down a busy road, walking through a dark alley, or simply living your everyday life, know that you are never alone. God's protective hand, often carried out by His angels, is with you always, keeping you safe in ways seen and unseen. 4. Messages and dreams. Dreams have always been a mysterious part of human experience. They can be fleeting images or vivid stories, often leaving us wondering about their meaning. But sometimes, a dream feels different. It's not random or confusing. It's peaceful, purposeful, and full of clarity. Could such a dream be more than a coincidence? Could it be a divine message? The Bible gives us a beautiful example of this in Matthew 1:20. Joseph, a humble carpenter engaged to Mary, faced a life-altering dilemma. Mary was pregnant, and Joseph knew he was not the father. His heart was heavy with confusion and doubt. How could this have happened? What should he do? In his turmoil, Joseph considered quietly ending the engagement to spare Mary public disgrace. Yet, he didn't want to act hastily. That night, as he lay down to sleep, something extraordinary happened. In his dream, an angel of the Lord appeared, radiant and serene, bringing a message of peace and reassurance. The angel told Joseph not to be afraid to take Mary as his wife, explaining that the child she carried was conceived by the Holy Spirit. She will give birth to a son, the angel said, and you are to give him the name Jesus, because he will save his people from their sins. When Joseph awoke, his heart was no longer burdened with doubt. He felt an unshakable peace and a clear sense of purpose. The dream wasn't just a figment of his imagination, it was a divine encounter, a message from God delivered by his angel. Stories like Joseph's remind us that God can use dreams to speak to us, offering guidance, reassurance, and answers during life's most challenging moments. Have you ever had a dream that felt unusually vivid, as though it was more than just your mind at work? Imagine a young woman facing a big decision about her future. She's been offered a job in a faraway city, but feels torn between the exciting opportunity and leaving her family behind. She prays for guidance but feels no clear answer. Then, one night, she dreams she's standing at a crossroads. A gentle, glowing figure approaches her and points down one path, saying, "Do not fear, walk this way." When she wakes up, her heart feels lighter, and the decision she struggled with now seems clear. Could it have been an angel guiding her, just as one guided Joseph so long ago? Dreams like these often come with a sense of peace, a feeling that the message is from God, not from our own thoughts or fears. They bring clarity in confusion, hope in uncertainty, and a reminder that we are not alone in our struggles. Angels are God's messengers, carrying His words in ways that transcend the ordinary. Sometimes, they speak in dreams, where the noise of the world fades, and our hearts are open to hear. If you've ever had a dream that brought unexpected wisdom, comfort, or direction, take a moment to reflect. It may have been more than just a dream. It could have been an angel, delivering God's message straight to your heart. God's love for us is so deep that He doesn't leave us to navigate life's challenges on our own. He speaks, guides, and reassures us, even through the quiet, mysterious language of dreams. 5. Comfort in grief or fear. Grief and fear are emotions that can weigh heavily on the soul, making even the strongest person feel broken. These emotions can leave us feeling alone, isolated, and sometimes even abandoned. But in these darkest moments, something extraordinary can happen, a sense of peace, comfort, or strength that seems to come from nowhere. In Luke 20-43, we see a powerful example of this kind of comfort. It was the night before Jesus' crucifixion. He knew the suffering He was about to endure, and His heart was filled with sorrow. In the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus prayed deeply, His spirit distressed. He asked God if there was any way to avoid the agony that awaited Him, but He surrendered His will, trusting in God's plan. As Jesus knelt in anguish, feeling the weight of the world on His shoulders, something amazing happened. An angel from heaven appeared to Him and strengthened Him. Luke 20-43. In His darkest moment, when fear and grief threatened to overwhelm Him, God sent an angel to bring Him comfort and strength. This angel did not take away the pain Jesus felt, but it reminded Him that He was not alone. The angel's presence was a divine reassurance, a reminder that God was with him even in the most painful moment of his life. Jesus was strengthened, not by the absence of pain, but by the presence of God's comfort, and the assurance that He was fulfilling a greater purpose. For many of us, this story resonates deeply. We may not face the same agonizing trial as Jesus, but we all experience moments of deep sorrow, fear, and uncertainty. It could be the loss of a loved one, a difficult season in life, or a fear of what the future holds. During these times, God can send comfort in unexpected ways, through the presence of a loved one, a kind word, or even a deep sense of peace that seems to come out of nowhere. Sometimes, the comfort we experience is more than just the presence of people around us. It may feel like something supernatural, an unexplainable peace or strength that comes at just the right moment. It might be the warmth of a hug when you feel most alone, or an overwhelming sense of calm when fear grips your heart. These moments can be a sign that God is sending His angels to bring you comfort and strength, just as He did for Jesus. In times of grief or fear, it's important to remember that we are never truly alone. God sees us, He understands our pain, and He is always ready to send His help in ways that we might not fully understand. Whether through angels, loved ones, or a deep sense of peace, God's encouragement is always available when we need it most. Just as the angel strengthened Jesus in His moment of anguish, God promises to comfort and strengthen us in our times of sorrow and fear. The next time you feel overwhelmed, take a moment to pause and listen. You may just feel the gentle presence of God's comfort and the reassurance that He is walking with you through the storm. 6. Mysterious helpers or strangers. Life often presents us with moments of need, when everything seems to be going wrong and help feels out of reach. In these times, just when we think we can't go on, someone unexpected arrives, a stranger, offering assistance, kindness, or encouragement in ways that leave us speechless. Sometimes, it's as if they were sent at the perfect moment, as if they appeared out of nowhere, just when you needed them the most. There's a story in Hebrews 13:2 that speaks to the idea of showing hospitality to strangers, for in doing so, some have unknowingly entertained angels. Have you ever met someone in a moment of dire need, and their help felt more than just human? It was as if they were a messenger, sent to guide you through a difficult time. Imagine you're stranded on a busy street, your car has broken down, and no one seems to stop to offer help. You're starting to feel the weight of your situation, perhaps even wondering if help will ever come. Then, out of nowhere, a stranger appears. They seem calm and confident, offering to help. With their assistance, the car is soon running again, or they offer you a lift to your destination. You may never see them again, but something about the encounter sticks with you. There was a certain peace about them that made you feel safe and cared for, as if they knew exactly what you needed. As you reflect on this encounter, it dawns on you, what if that stranger wasn't just an ordinary person? What if they were sent by God to help you in your time of need? Hebrews 13:2 encourages us to be mindful of strangers because, in some cases, they might be angels in disguise, sent to deliver divine assistance or encouragement when we least expect it. There are countless stories of people who have experienced similar encounters, someone showing up with just the right advice, the right support, or even simply the right presence at a crucial moment in their lives. These mysterious helpers often leave us with a sense of wonder, a feeling that there's more to this world than meets the eye. It's almost as if the universe, or God, is sending a message: you are not alone. What is the purpose behind these mysterious helpers? Sometimes, their mission is to guide us through a difficult time, offering the support we desperately need. Other times, they may offer a word of encouragement or a timely intervention, helping us to stay on the right path. But the truth is, we might never know for sure if those who helped us were angels or ordinary people. What matters is that their presence in our lives was no accident. Think about the last time someone stepped into your life unexpectedly, offering help or kindness. Did they seem to have an uncanny understanding of what you were going through? Did they leave you with a sense of peace and reassurance? In many ways, these experiences remind us that there's more at play in our lives than we often realize. Could be that the very stranger you encountered was fulfilling a divine purpose, sent to offer help in a moment of need. The next time you encounter someone in need, remember Hebrews 13:2. You may not know who they are or why they're in your life at that moment, but just by showing kindness and offering help, you could be playing a part in someone else's story, perhaps even becoming their angel in disguise. And who knows, the stranger you meet might be someone sent by God, just as you might be the answer to someone's prayer. The mystery of these encounters is one of the beautiful reminders that the divine is always at work, guiding us through the twists and turns of life, often through the most unexpected ways. This story emphasizes the beauty of showing kindness to strangers and the possibility that, in doing so, we might be helping angels in disguise. It's a reminder that sometimes, the help we need comes from sources we least expect, and there's often a divine purpose behind those encounters. 7. Sudden inspiration or wisdom. In moments of confusion or when faced with a challenge, have you ever felt a sudden clarity, a breakthrough thought, or a solution to a problem that seemed to appear from nowhere? It might feel like a light bulb moment, where everything suddenly makes sense. In those moments, you might be experiencing the gentle guidance of angels. In Daniel 9:22, we see how the angel Gabriel brought understanding to Daniel when he was seeking answers. Gabriel's appearance wasn't just a sign of God's presence. It was also a reminder that divine wisdom is available to us when we seek it. Daniel had been praying, asking for understanding of a vision he had received, and Gabriel arrived with a message that brought him clarity. Have you ever been working through a difficult problem or dilemma, and suddenly, an answer comes to you, one that feels right, as if it was placed there for you? It might be in the form of an idea, a sudden insight, or a sense of direction that you hadn't considered before. This kind of clarity can often feel like a gift, as if it was delivered at the perfect moment to help you make a decision or move forward. When we experience these moments of sudden inspiration, it could very well be that angels are guiding our thoughts. They don't always appear in dramatic ways, but instead, they often work quietly behind the scenes, helping us see things more clearly, offering solutions when we are in need of them. Just as Gabriel brought understanding to Daniel, these moments of clarity in our own lives can be the work of divine messengers, bringing wisdom and guidance at the right time. Whether it's a new perspective on a challenging situation, or an idea that helps us move forward, these moments are reminders that we are not alone in our struggles. Next time you experience that aha moment, that sudden understanding that lifts a burden from your heart, pause and consider that it might be the touch of an angel, bringing clarity, offering guidance, and helping you find your way. You may not see them, but the wisdom they bring is real, and it can change everything. This story reminds us that divine inspiration is always available to us, and we can trust that, when we seek wisdom, it will be provided, sometimes through quiet whispers, other times through sudden clarity. The angels may not always reveal themselves, but their presence is felt in the wisdom they bring. 8. Unusual light or glow. A quiet evening at home. It was a calm, peaceful evening. The house was still, with only the soft hum of the refrigerator in the background. Everything was ordinary, until something extraordinary happened. The air seemed to shift, and the atmosphere in the room suddenly felt different. You were sitting quietly, reading or perhaps enjoying a cup of tea, when out of nowhere, a soft, radiant glow began to fill the space. At first, you thought it was just the lamp light flickering, but the glow didn't come from any source you could identify. It was as if the very air round you had come alive with light. The unseen presence. The light was not harsh or blinding, but warm and inviting. It wasn't like the light from a lamp, or the moonlight streaming in through the window. This light felt different, like it was coming from everywhere, and nowhere at the same time. You stood up, cautiously, sensing something was happening that you couldn't explain. The light grew brighter, yet still, there was no clear source. It seemed to pulse in rhythm with your own heartbeat. Your thoughts raced. Could this be something supernatural? Glory of the Lord. The memory of a story you once heard about the angel appearing to the shepherds filled your mind. You remembered how in Luke 2:9, the angel appeared to them, with the glory of the Lord shining around them. It was exactly how you felt now. You couldn't see the angel, but the light, the glory, was undeniable. Just like the shepherds, you felt both awed and peaceful, like you were in the presence of something far beyond your understanding. The light's meaning. As the light lingered, you felt a deep sense of comfort and reassurance, as if an unseen presence was wrapping you in a gentle embrace. It wasn't frightening, just calming. The glow filled the room with warmth, but there was also a sense of holiness, like this moment was sacred. Perhaps it wasn't just light, it was a message, or maybe a reminder that you were not alone. In that quiet, shining moment, it was clear, something angelic, something divine, was near. A new sense of peace. The glow slowly faded, as if it had never been there at all. But you were different now. The sense of peace remained, and though the light was gone, the feeling of comfort stayed with you. You felt stronger, more at ease, knowing that angels, those heavenly messengers, were real and present in your life. You didn't need to see them to know they were there. It wasn't just a light. It was God's reassurance, sent through His angels to remind you that He watches over you, no matter the circumstances. Final thoughts as you sat back down. Everything seemed to settle into place. The world outside might have been full of noise, but in that moment, in the quiet glow, you understood that peace can come in the most unexpected ways. Sometimes, it's not what we see, but what we feel, that carries the greatest message. This story conveys the mysterious and comforting nature of angelic encounters through unusual light. Taking inspiration from Luke 2:9, it blends the supernatural with a sense of peace and reassurance that anyone could experience. The tone remains gentle and uplifting, focusing on the profound sense of divine presence, even when unseen. 9. Hearing soft whispers or a voice. There are moments in life when we feel overwhelmed, unsure, or caught in the noise of the world around us. In these times, it can be easy to forget that there's more to the world than what we can see or hear. We might long for a sign, a message, or some guidance, yet the answers we seek often come in the quietest of ways. In 1 Kings 19:12, we read about the prophet Elijah, who sought God in the midst of a storm. The winds howled, the earth shook, and a fire raged, but God's voice wasn't in any of those loud, powerful forces. Instead, it came in a gentle whisper, soft and clear. This wasn't the kind of message Elijah expected, but it was the one he needed. Many of us have experienced moments when we suddenly hear a whisper or a voice, soft yet undeniable, in the midst of our struggles. It might be something simple, a sudden thought or a gentle nudge in our spirit. It's not always easy to describe or explain, but we know it's there. It could be a voice telling you to pray when you feel lost, or urging you to take a specific action, even when you're uncertain. It might be a subtle direction in your heart that you can't ignore, one that leads you toward peace or a breakthrough. Imagine walking through a quiet, empty room. Everything is still, yet you hear the faintest whisper. At first, you wonder if it's just your mind playing tricks on you. But then the whisper becomes clearer. You stop, listen more carefully, and realize it's not just a sound. It's a message meant only for you. Perhaps it's God's way of communicating through an angel, sending a reminder that He's with you, guiding you. This soft whisper doesn't demand attention or force you to act. Instead, it waits, hoping that you'll choose to listen, to respond. And when you do, a sense of clarity comes over you. That gentle voice, though quiet, carries wisdom, and suddenly, everything feels a little more right in the world. Sometimes, these whispers can be a reassurance that God hasn't forgotten you. In your pain or confusion, that quiet voice might remind you that you're not alone, that you're not forgotten. It might urge you to take a step of faith, trusting that what seems like a small nudge is actually a great call to action. While we may not always recognize the voice at first, we can learn to be more attuned to these subtle messages over time. In the busyness of life, we can train ourselves to listen for the whispers that guide us, the soft prompts that come from a place of divine love and wisdom. The next time you find yourself lost in thought or unsure of your next step, take a moment to quiet the noise around you. Listen carefully for that gentle whisper. It might be an angel guiding you, or God's voice, speaking softly but clearly, urging you toward a peaceful solution, a new path, or simply, a deeper trust in His plan for you. This highlights the gentle, unassuming nature of God's guidance through whispers, making it relatable, clear, and emotionally resonant without using complex language. It connects the experience of hearing a whisper to moments of divine direction and reassurance, inviting reflection and awareness. 10. Healing and strength in times of weakness. In moments of weakness, when we feel like we have no strength left, there's a profound sense of helplessness that often settles over us. Whether it's physical pain, emotional turmoil, or spiritual exhaustion, the burden can seem too heavy to carry alone. Yet, it is during these darkest times that healing can come in the most unexpected and mysterious ways. In the Bible, we read about the pool of Bethesda in John 5:4, where an angel would stir the waters, and those who entered the pool would be healed. People gathered there, hoping for a miracle, waiting for the waters to move. For some, this was the only hope they had left, a belief that when the waters were stirred, healing could come. It wasn't always easy to see, but it was in those moments of waiting that the angelic presence made a difference. Imagine, for a moment, being in a place of total despair, physically weak, emotionally drained, or spiritually weary. It's in these fragile moments that we may encounter healing. It may not be an angel stirring the waters like in Bethesda, but healing can arrive in subtle and unexpected ways. You might find strength in a kind word from a friend, an unexpected burst of energy, or a sense of peace that overtakes your anxious thoughts. Sometimes, healing is not immediate, but over time, you begin to feel better, stronger, and more at ease, without understanding exactly how it happened. This is the gentle work of angels ministering to you, whether you feel their presence or not. In our everyday lives, healing can take place in quiet, unseen moments. You might feel the weight of your struggles lift as you pray, or you might suddenly sense a deep calm in your heart when you've been overwhelmed. This peace, this strength, doesn't always come in grand gestures, but in soft whispers of comfort that speak to the soul. When an angel ministers to you, it often feels like a light touch, a gentle embrace, or an inner strength that rises up when you thought you had none left. It might not always look like a grand miracle, but it's the way God works through His messengers, bringing comfort and healing exactly when it's needed most. Even if we don't always recognize angels in their full form, their presence is undeniable when we find ourselves unexpectedly lifted from the depths of despair. It's a reminder that even in our weakest moments, we are never truly alone. Healing and strength often come when we need them the most, delivered through angelic ministry, working silently behind the scenes to restore us in mind, body, and spirit. So, when you feel weary, exhausted, or broken, remember that angels may be near, ministering to you in ways you may not fully see. Trust that healing is not far away, and that strength will come in its perfect time, just as the angel once stirred the waters of Bethesda to bring healing to those in need. 11. Unexplained feathers or signs. In times of trouble, uncertainty, or even moments of peace, many people report strange occurrences that seem too remarkable to ignore. One such occurrence is the sudden appearance of feathers, unexpectedly found in places where they shouldn't be, or when they aren't looking for them. This simple yet mysterious event can leave someone with a sense of awe or wonder, especially when they are already praying or thinking deeply about their life. Though feathers are not directly mentioned in the Bible as a sign of angels, they are often associated with them because of their connection to wings. In Isaiah 6:2, angels are described as having wings, and throughout Scripture, angels are depicted as messengers of God, sometimes appearing with great power or gentleness. For many, finding a feather can be interpreted as a reminder that God's messengers may be nearby, whether we see them or not. Imagine you're having a tough day, one of those days where everything seems to go wrong. You might be feeling overwhelmed with work, family struggles, or personal challenges. You sit down to take a breath and reflect on what's going on in your life. Just as you do, you notice something unusual, a soft feather lying on the floor near your feet, or perhaps on your pillow when you wake up. It seems out of place, especially since no one around you has feathers. You wonder how it got there. Some may dismiss this as coincidence, but for others, it's a sign, a subtle hint that angels are present, offering comfort and guidance. The presence of feathers may be a way of angels, reminding you that you're not alone in your struggles. You are being watched over, and there's a higher presence guiding you, even if you cannot see it. Feathers can come in many shapes, sizes, and colors, each one unique. Sometimes they appear when you least expect them, offering a sense of peace or a moment of calm in the midst of chaos. In some cases, people report finding them in places they would never imagine, like on the back of a chair, in a car, or even by their front door. These instances might not have an immediate explanation, but they leave an undeniable sense that something greater is at work. This phenomenon can happen during significant moments, times of prayer, when you are seeking answers, or even in the quiet moments after you've given up on trying to solve something on your own. could be that angels are near, offering reassurance, and gently reminding you of the love and protection surrounding you. Even though feathers aren't explicitly mentioned in Scripture as a direct sign of angelic visits, many find comfort in this unexpected symbol. It's a quiet, peaceful reminder that God is watching over them, sending messages of hope, love, and encouragement through these mysterious, delicate signs. Someone feeling overwhelmed by life's challenges is reflecting on their situation. A feather appears suddenly, leaving them puzzled and curious. Could this be a sign of angelic presence? The idea of feathers being linked to angels in Scripture is explored. In Isaiah 6:2, angels are described as having wings, and through this, feathers come to symbolize God's messengers. Finding a feather in an unexpected place is interpreted as a gentle sign that angels may be near. It's a sign that you are not alone in your struggles, and there is guidance and protection available. Feathers show up in unusual places, sometimes when least expected. They serve as a reminder that sometimes the answers to our prayers may come in the form of a gentle, unexplainable sign. In difficult moments, angels may use these simple symbols to reassure us that God is watching over us and sending help, even if it's in a form that we don't immediately recognize. This story invites people to reflect on the unexpected moments in their lives where they might encounter something that speaks to them of God's presence. The feathers become a metaphor for the subtle ways in which angels might be at work in their lives, offering signs of comfort and reassurance in times of need. 12. An overwhelming urge to pray or worship. In life, there are moments when something deep within your heart stirs you, an undeniable urge to pray, worship, or simply reflect on God's goodness. These moments often come unexpectedly, like a sudden wave of emotion that fills your entire being. It may happen during a quiet evening at home, while you're walking in nature, or even in the middle of a busy day. You might find yourself suddenly wanting to praise God with all your heart, lifting your hands or singing out loud in gratitude. It's not something you planned, but it feels like an overwhelming, natural response to something you can't see but feel deeply. You feel drawn to God, as though there's an invisible connection pulling you closer to Him, urging you to pray, even if there's no specific reason or request. In the Bible, we see glimpses of how angels, those heavenly beings who serve as messengers of God, are constantly in the presence of God, worshiping and praising Him. Revelation 5:11-12 paints a vivid picture of this, saying, "Then I looked and heard the voice of many angels, numbering thousands upon thousands, and 10,000 times 10,000. They encircled the throne and the living creatures and the elders. In a loud voice, they were saying, 'Worthy is the Lamb, who was slain, to receive power, and wealth and wisdom and strength and honor and glory and praise.'" This scene of constant worship serves as a reminder that the angels are always in awe of God, giving Him the glory He deserves. They never tire of praising Him, and perhaps, in those moments when you feel a sudden urge to pray or worship, it could be angels encouraging you to do the same, to join in the celestial chorus, and lift your voice in praise. Sometimes, it feels as if the weight of the world lifts when you simply surrender your thoughts and emotions to God in prayer. The urge may not have a clear reason behind it, but you sense the presence of something greater, something divine, moving within you. This powerful pull to connect with God could be a sign that you are not alone, that angels are with you, guiding you, and encouraging you to grow closer to Him. May your spiritual journey be filled with God's grace and peace. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video to inspire others on their walk with the Lord.